Welcome home. I think we should rewind a little bit and see how this even happened. As you guys know, we used to have a foster dog named Solar, and it didn't end up working out, but Colin and I really wanted a companion still. Keep this in mind. But before all of this, Subi came over for a couple days just to explore Texas with us and keep us company. I think literally the first night she got to our apartment, we made the decision to get Cheddar. I think I showed Colin a TikTok of a corgi, and then he was like, oh, that's so cute, I love corgis. And then I was like, you know, I'd be down to get a corgi, because at the time I was scared of big dogs. He was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. So that night we tried looking for corgis in our area, and there were none. We found this breeder that had 2 corgis left, and one of them was Cheddar and then his sister. We filled out an application, and then we had a FaceTime call with the breeder that night. She introduced us to the 2 puppies, talked about corgis, and let me just say, she loves all of her corgis. We always go to her for questions, even almost a year later. Yeah, we ended up going with Cheddar instead of his sister because apparently his sister was a little bratty, and we were like, ooh, we'll take the friendly one. We put our deposit down and then scheduled a pickup date literally 2 days after. And when I tell you that we could not sleep because we were so fucking excited, like, we built this little thing for him to put in his pen. I didn't film this, but I deep cleaned the fuck out of our house, like deep clean, just in case like Solar had anything that we weren't aware of, just because Cheddar was too young to have all of his vaccines. Before that, we went to Houston. We were planning this trip for a couple weeks now, but before we went, we stopped by this Japanese sando place, and it was pretty good. It wasn't like anything crazy, but I also can't expect it to be like fresh fish because it's Texas. Honestly, being in Houston made me realize like maybe Texas isn't that bad compared to Austin. Houston is so much more developed. We visited one of the biggest museums I've ever been to, probably the biggest one I've ever been to. I believe it had 3 buildings and multiple floors. But after the museum, we went to a little food court and I got some African food, which was so good. I still think about it to this day. And then we went to the Gemini concert with Shay and Elle. The next day was our trip to pick up Cheddar. So stopped by a Buc-ee's. I was astonished because I was like, how can you have so many gas stations in a row? It was like 100 of them. They had also the best fries I've ever had in my life at a Buc-ee's. We finally picked him up in Dallas, and he's so cute. I'm like watching the footage back and I miss puppy Cheddar. He's still a puppy, but like puppy baby Cheddar. And he was such a good boy in the car ride. Our breeder gave us all of the information we needed, like where he was in his vaccines, what he needed to get, whether or not he was dewormed, what we needed to do, blah blah blah. We sent her the rest of the money for him. He's just such a little floof ball. we played with him for a bit and let him get accustomed to the house. Hi.
This kid's so fucking big.
Cheddar. Hi, Cheddar.
My mayonnaise, your mayonnaise.
And we also set up his pen, so we put that little bed that we made him alongside a little pen area for him to sleep in. And look at him sleeping with this little sheep. I showed you guys on stream as well, and you guys loved him and you guys still love him. As for sleeping though, it was rough because Cheddar was whining a lot and crying a lot at night. It's the first time he's sleeping without his family. So what we ended up doing was we got this huge carrier for him to sleep in at night, and we put it on top of a chair on top of a box next to our bed so that he could see us while he was sleeping, because sometimes he would wake up every couple hours, literally like a newborn, just crying, and then we'd be like, oh, it's okay, Cheddar, and then he'll just stop because he'll realize, he'll see us and be like, oh, they're still here. We also didn't know that puppies were supposed to sleep 16 hours in a day, because we were like, why is he so nippy? Other than the fact that he was a herding dog, he just wasn't getting enough sleep, so he would sleep a lot during the day. We did that carrier thing for a couple of days, and when I would stream, him and Cheddar would cuddle and watch me stream from the living room. He would keep me company while I'm editing, and he was just the best boy, other than the fact that he was eating up our ankles. And looking back at it now, the thing that solved it was we got a soccer ball that was like a herding ball he would just herd, and he just stopped hurting us. Good job. So if you're getting a herding dog, do that. I'm giving you the cheat code. He was too young to hold in his poop or pee, and he just didn't know how either. So we couldn't leave the house for more than 2 hours. We had plans to go top golf with some friends. I kid you not, we were trying to get this guy to poop for an hour when he should have pooped already. Like, we were so desperate that we showed him a video of a dog pooping in hopes that he would poop. And the second that we both just stop looking at him, he just poops. We found out that Cheddar was a shy pooper, and he still is a shy pooper. As soon as you're not looking at him, he will poop when he needs to, obviously. I also had to throw away my shark slippers because he just kept eating them up. And after a couple weeks, we started crate training. I know a lot of people are like, don't do crate training, it's so cruel. It's for Cheddar's safety and for his separation anxiety, because again, we both work from home, so we're quite literally at home 24/7. And if you got a pet during COVID, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about separation anxiety. And the way we prevented this was through crate training. Every time that we do need to go out, he won't wreck stuff in the house, or even worse, like hurt himself by doing that, because we can't supervise him. We also didn't use his crate as punishment. We started teaching him his name and sit, which was really easy for him because he was so low to the ground. He also wasn't fully vaccinated because he wasn't old enough, so we would literally take him out on walks in a tote bag. We just took him around the parking lot to poop and pee when we were teaching him how to poop and pee outside. But the only bad thing now is that when he's in parking lots, he feels the urge to poop like randomly. We gave him his first bath, which he didn't really like. It's okay, at least he didn't fight it. Water too cold?
It's not cold.
I know, we're almost done. What's this? No.
Did you find the counter strat?
Jesus Christ. Oh!
Good job!
You stop when I'm recording?
Go! I need you to do zoomies. How do I train you to do zoomies?
Our Zoomies just like a happiness. Oh. We also put him on the leash for the first time, which he didn't really like at first. Does not like it.
I don't walk myself, bitch.
But after he got to go outside and run, he had a freaking blast. Let's go. Let's go. Go, 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 go. I think this was the time that he was learning that we were his parents. We took him to multiple vet appointments because we didn't realize that corgis are known to have sensitive stomachs and he loves eating shit off the floor. We also learned about mental stimulation. He also had issues with kibble. He would be like very bloated, like more than his puppy belly, which was worrying. And then he would either have the tiniest poops ever, not poop, or shit his brains out, or just have like random weird colored diarrhea. And we were like, what the f is going on? Like the amount of times that we had to put him on chicken and rice was concerning, and the amount of times that we took him to the vet was also concerning. Every time we had him on rice and chicken or just like whole foods, his poop was fine. So eventually we did switch him off and we haven't had any issues since. We were also giving him stuff like blueberries and ice cubes, and it was his first time seeing those things. And of course we bought a little costume for him, which he didn't really like, but it's okay. He looked so cute. Cheddar.
Sit. You want a blueberry? You want a blueberry? Let's go get you a blueberry.
Cheddar. Sit. I took a trip to SF back home. Colin took care of him and taught him how to go upstairs for the first time. And he's so cute. He does like little bunny hops up the stairs and he still climbs the stairs the same way. He also discovered door stops and he still loves them like way too much. Hey, don't eat that. Hey, drop it. There was another corgi that lived in our apartment complex, and this is also when we discovered that corgis play a certain way, very differently than how other dogs play. So that was really interesting. We also socialized him as much as possible. We brought him out for little errands like ice cream or out to hang out with friends, our friends' dogs. These are with Tiff's dogs, and he was great with people. He still is really great with people. One thing that we forgot about was socializing him to old people. So when we got to LA, he was absolutely terrified of old people. If he had a tail, it would have been tucked right between his legs. We ran into this old couple at the park with Cheddar in LA. They were old. And Cheddar was scared. Like, he was so scared. He wanted to social distance as much as possible. And they were like, oh no, like, what's wrong with him? And we didn't have the heart to be like, oh, it's because you're old. So we were like, oh, he's just a little shy. Cheddar was everything that we wanted in a dog. He was a great companion. He kept us entertained. He had a huge personality. It was basically like having a little child, and it still kind of is. After a couple weeks, He was fine being alone. He learned how to play by himself, which I didn't even know could be an issue. Like, some dogs can't play by themselves. Like, they will bother you and cry and whine and bark for you to play with them, and because they're not able to keep themselves entertained, and being stern about like not giving into the whining, so that he would be able to be alone either when we're going out or when we have stuff to do around the house or we're working. We could go out like 2 to 3 hours every day, come back, and it would be perfectly fine. And we even bought like little baby cam. I don't know if I have any videos of it, but we had a little baby camera to see how he was doing when we were out, and he would cry for like maybe a minute and then he's just calm. And now when we go out, he doesn't cry at all in his crate. We also realized that Cheddar has a lot of FOMO. You could be right next to him, and if there's a gate, he's sad. But if there's no gate, he won't even be next to you. He'll just be wandering around the house, and he'll be so happy because he has access to you. Took him to the vet by myself. He just couldn't stand just being in the seat next to me. Like, he had to be on my arm. Like a month and a half later, we took him on our trip to LA because he was small enough to be in the carrier with us on the plane, because we did not want to put him in cargo ever, and we still would never. And he did really well. Originally this was going to be like a week-long trip, if I remember correctly, but just seeing how much fun he had being in LA, like being able to go to these beautiful parks and meeting our families, meeting our friends. My dad loved him, and my dad still loves him, and just seeing the joy that our loved ones get from Cheddar, along with how happy Cheddar was being here, being able to go out on adventures with us and meet all of our friends. All of that just made us realize like maybe we should just stay. So the day that we were supposed to fly back, we let Colin's friend watch him. I was gonna be back in Texas for 2 days, and then I was gonna fly back for a Red Bull shoot. And we decided that we were gonna move that weekend. But yeah, that was our first 2 months with Cheddar. I think the title is gonna be like 1, but I'm smushing it into 2. Our next vlog will be the move back to LA, very impulsively. And now we're done with the Cheddar arc.